Michael Phelps once again making it look easy.
For the people in charge of the U.S. Olympic swim team, millions of dollars in corporate sponsorships and television contracts depend on the reputation of the sport and its coaches and swimmers.
Another gold medal for America's Michael Phelps.
They become cultural figures today, so that's helped us get more publicity for the sport and more television coverage for our events, and it's attracted many more kids into the sport as well.
When a London tabloid published this photo last year of Olympic gold medal winner Michael Phelps appearing to smoke marijuana, USA Swimming Executive Director Chuck Welgus moved quickly to suspend him for 3 months.
In the sport of swimming, we have very strict guidelines and controls on the environment.
But in cases of alleged sexual abuse involving dozens of USA swimming coaches,
no organization wants to be known as having that kind of a problem. And I believe, again, in my opinion, it's been swept under the rug.
This is the women's 4x100 medley relay. Dina Dierdoff, 15-year-old.
Dina Dierdoff was a gold medal winner on the U.S. Olympic swim team in 1972.
The United States has won it.
And she now tells 2020 she was also the victim of sexual abuse, molested by a coach for over 4 years, starting at age 11.
At the time, I didn't even know that that word was out there, so I didn't know what the word was, but I knew I was being violated.
And now Dierdoff is using her Olympic prestige to speak out.
My only reason for speaking on a public forum now is because I have lived with believing that it was a problem that needed to be dealt with, and it wasn't being dealt with.
We want to have the gold standard, and I think we do an awesome job. I don't think we're perfect.
The 36, and these are just pictures of some of them.
When we showed Welgus mugshots of some of the 36 now banned coaches, he said it was only a small fraction of his 12,000 member coaches.
I don't want to be the one to sit here and say 36 is not too many. 1 is too many. But this is not just a problem that's isolated to one sport.
But 36 must seem like a whole lot then.
36 does seem like a whole lot. 100 is even more. 500 is even more.
Would you seek to minimize it?
I'm not seeking to minimize it. You're seeking to accentuate it, though. Sexual misconduct.
Yet Welgus seemed much more candid in a speech to swim coaches last year, recorded on audio tape and obtained by 2020, describing the issue as a big problem that has reporters focusing on USA Swimming.
This happens almost every week. We get calls at the office. I get informed about it. One of my greatest fears is someone's going to start linking all this together.
Almost every week.
I may have overstated, but I was overstating to make a case and to make a very strong statement to our coaches that this is something that they have to be concerned about.
But in a series of lawsuits brought by sex abuse victims and their parents, USA Swimming is accused of failing to conduct better background checks and being more concerned with its public image than its abusive coaches.
I think they're blinded by the donations they receive, their national image, and the results they're obtaining.
Lawyer Bob Allard represents families of swimmers who were abused by the San Jose, California coach Andy King, now serving 40 years in prison.
They rely upon U.S. Swimming to develop the procedures and to screen them. And when someone like Andy King has a stamp of approval, volunteer parents pretty much say that he's good to go. He's qualified.
We would love to keep individuals like Mr. King out of our sport, but no system is perfect. What I can tell you is that any time and every time that someone has brought forward a complaint about a coach who has acted inappropriately, that complaint is immediately turned over to legal counsel, and immediately an investigation is conducted.
Not true, says Lori Sharp. She says until she contacted 2020, USA Swimming had failed to investigate complaints she heard from her 18-year-old daughter about a 42-year-old swim coach.
As a teenager in her senior year, there was inappropriate texts, sexual, nasty texts, a lot of heavy flirting on his part. He crossed the line many times.
I recall speaking to Lori Sharp,
Right.
and I recall very succinctly informing Ms. Sharp that if she has a complaint She needs to put it in writing.
Lori Sharp says that's what she did, and she showed 2020 emails she sent to Welgus last year.
Did you investigate this?
Turn that over to our legal counsel to conduct an investigation.
And
I'm not sure what the result of that investigation was.
this is more than 4 months ago. In that
I'm
time,
still not sure what the results of that investigation were.
can you find out for us?
Absolutely.
Lori Sharp says she finally heard from USA Swimming about 3 hours after we interviewed its executive director.
Didn't ask about the investigation, asked why I had contacted 2020. That was his only concern.
The coach accused by Lori Sharp told us he denied all of her allegations, but he also told us that no one from USA Swimming had ever contacted him, that he knew of no investigation. In the meantime, he has moved to another city and continues to work with young teens. But just hours before our broadcast tonight, USA Swimming sent us word it has a private investigator looking into the case, and that in the last 24 hours, the coach had finally been interviewed. For the many victims who have suffered from their coach's crimes and sexual misconduct over the years, there continues to be pain and anger about why more is not being done now to protect a new set of vulnerable teen swimmers.
It was a sense of betrayal.
I suffered terribly, and my family suffered really badly.
I think that USA Swimming owes an apology to all the victims that have been molested by their swim coaches. They should just realize what's going on is destroying many lives.
Have you apologized to any of the young women victims?
You feel I need to apologize to them?
As the head of the sport?
I think we have done, look, this is a tragic situation. And I think it's unfair for you to ask me, whether me individually or me as the representative of an organization, to apologize for something when all we are trying to do is do everything we possibly can to create a safe and healthy environment for kids who are participating in our particular activity.